the granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the immortals, the one and only WrestleMania takes place this Sunday in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. This will be the second WrestleMania to take place in that stadium. The first was 29, which was 6 years ago. And this show will feature the first ever women's main event, as there is a winner-take-all triple threat match with Ronda Rousey defending her Raw Women's Championship, as Charlotte will also defend her SmackDown Women's Championship, and Becky Lynch, who won the Women's Royal Rumble, will also compete, and the winner will become a double champion. So I don't think it's necessarily a unification. I think it means a double champion in which the champion will have to defend their title on both brands. But that's the main event. I got a lot of matches right now. There is 15 matches. That's as of Wednesday. There's rumors of more matches being added. We have a lot of wrestlers supposedly in New York. The Undertaker is rumored to appear. John Cena, I'm sure, will appear in some form. The Rock, he could appear with Elias. Stone Cold, haven't heard anything, but he's always a possibility, as is Hulk Hogan, who will be there for the Hall of Fame. He could be on the show too. You can get a lot of legends on this show. So this is going to be, without question, I think, the longest pay-per-view in WWE history. Last year's was 7 hours and 15 minutes, I believe, something around that time. The year before was also 7 hours, not as long, but over 7 hours. The last two WrestleManias have gone over that. I'm going to predict WrestleMania 35 will eclipse 8 hours. This show goes past midnight to 1 o'clock. That's how long I think this show's going to be. And I mean that the main show is 6 hours. I think the pre-show will be 2, so I think you have an 8-hour show. So this is going to be a very long predictions video. Let's start with the pre-show. So you have 3 matches already confirmed for the pre-show, the 2 Battle Royals and the Cruiserweight title match. The WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal will start there. And this has been one of the more controversial matches of the show, because I think a lot of the women were expecting to participate in the SmackDown Women's Champion when Asuka sold the belt, but supposedly there was a last-minute change to have Charlotte beat Asuka and take the title in the main event. So a lot of women are unhappy, most notably Naomi. As to who wins this match, we'll go through everyone here. You have Asuka. She's one of the favorites. I'd like to see her win. I'm not so sure she will. And the thing is, with Asuka, WWE probably looks at it as she doesn't need this, and they can still push her back into the title picture. If Becky wins the title, Asuka would be a logical first opponent, because Asuka tapped her out clean at the Royal Rumble, and I hope they go back to that. But you know the way WWE changes their mind on stuff, they might just forget. However, I don't see Asuka winning, because I don't think that the company looks at Asuka as someone who needs it, so I don't see her. Carmella, I don't see her. I think she was supposed to co-guest host with Alexa Bliss, her and R-Truth, but I don't think so. She'll probably make an appearance and do some dance break on the main show. And I'm sure there'll be a dance break in this match, but I don't see Carmella winning at all. She had her time in 2018 after WrestleMania 34 when she cashed in on Charlotte the 2 nights after the show on SmackDown. That was her run. I don't think she's going to get anything anymore. As is Naomi, who is also here. I don't see her winning, especially with her attitude, the way she's been complaining on social media. I think with Naomi, it's similar to Carmella. She had her moment, I think, at WrestleMania 33. She won the SmackDown Women's title, and she had a decent run. She went to SummerSlam. Her and Carmella had very similar run to SmackDown Women's champ, and did nothing as champ. I think that's the farthest both of them will go, so I don't see Naomi winning either. Speaking of bad attitudes, Lana. No way in hell Lana's winning. I don't see her and Rusev long for this company. I expect probably there might be an AEW by the end of this year. Mandy Rose, I do not see her winning, but she is a possibility, but she's not my pick. However, Mandy Rose has all the star potential. She is absolutely gorgeous. She's blonde. She has a great body. She has big tits. She is good on the mic. She has everything. She will be a top female starter sooner than later, but she's not my pick here. Sonya Deville, again, she has some potential, but she's not my pick. I like her and Mandy as a team, but I don't think Sonya Deville's going to win. I think she's better just as a bodyguard for Mandy, as her muscle. She kind of protects her and stuff like that, but as a winner here, I don't think we're going to push her that far. Nikki Cross, no, they've done nothing with her. Dana Brooke, she can go cry on Lillian Garcia's podcast again because she's not winning this match. Ruby Riott, she's going to get a push later. She's not winning. I don't see it going to Ruby at all. Liv Morgan, no. Liv Morgan's nothing. Sarah Logan, absolutely not. Mickie James, no. Zelina Vega, as smoking hot as Zelina Vega is, she doesn't win this match because I don't think they're going to push her as a wrestler. Which brings me to my prediction. The woman who I see winning is not listed on WWE.com right now, but I think she wins this match, and that's going to be Lacey Evans. They're going to push her to the moon. She is going to get a major push. I think she's going to win this match. And I think starting the night after WrestleMania on Raw, she gets her big push. She's in the military. Vince loves that. I think she's going to, like, the company's set. They want her to be the third biggest female star because when Ronda leaves, they know they have Becky as a top star. Charlotte is pretty much the second top star. And then they have Lacey Evans. That's how big they want Lacey Evans to be. As to who else could appear, I don't see any of the women in the NXT takeover match appearing. I don't see Shayna Baszler appearing. It's possible we see Io Shirai or Kairi Sane or Bianca Belair. Whoever doesn't win, I think will, not Baszler, but if someone else in the title doesn't win the belt, I think they could appear. I think we could see Toni Storm because she's in town. I think she's wrestling on that Worlds Collide show they did. She might wrestle Bianca Belair if I'm not mistaken. I actually want to see that. I should like to see those two wrestle because I think they can both be stars. But Toni Storm could appear. Rhea Ripley, she'd actually be a good choice to win, but I don't see her winning because she's not on the main roster yet. But Rhea Ripley would be a good one. Anyone else in NXT? Maybe Tanari Conti, so we get to see her. So I think they're going to use like a whole bunch of women who are not booked already to give them a payday. But Lacey Evans is my pick, and I already took too much time for the women's battle royal meaningless match. We're going to be here a long time. This is going to be a long show. Hopefully this prediction show is not longer than my actual review, which is both going to be very long. So next, we have the celebrity match, which is going to be the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. This is built around two SNL losers, two guys no one cares about. Saturday Night Live hasn't been relevant in just years, but they're going to be on the show. It's Colin Jost and Michael Shea. Braun Strowman's going to get his hands on them. Something's going to happen. I think Strowman's going to eliminate them, but I think they're going to cost Strowman. So I don't see Braun Strowman winning. Interesting about Braun Strowman. I was listening to Slice Wrestling, and he was talking about how Vince McMahon blames Raw's lower ratings last year on Braun Strowman. And I don't agree with that. I think that's preposterous. I think Vince is fucking crazy if he actually believes that. But he's really down on Braun, and it's going to be a long time since he's going to be pushed as a top main event star again. So I don't think Braun's going to win. I don't think they really want to push him. I think there's some heat, and I don't know how much longer he's going to be here. That guy, he has a lot of potential. He could go to another promotion and do well. Even though he might not be a great technical wrestler, there's problems with WWE and Braun Strowman. And he's not winning. I don't see Colin Jost and Michael Shea winning. Andrade, he'd be a cool pick. He can get a push. I don't think they're going to give it to him. I like Zelina Vega a lot more than Andrade. Apollo Crews, no. Titus O'Neil, no. Tyler Breeze, no. Jinder Mahal, I hope not. Noe Jose, no. Bobby Roode, no. I'm sure he's not very happy. Kalisto, no. There seems to be a lot of unhappy wrestlers, man. There's a lot of unhappy guys in this company. And it's even worse because they can just vent on social media now because AEW. Chad Gable, I don't see it. Grand Metalik, no. Kalisto, did I say him already? No. Lindsay Dorado, hell no. Bo Dallas, hell no. Curtis Axel, hell no. Heath Slater, fuck no. Rhino, no. Connor or Victor, absolutely not. Ali, we can't call him Mustafa Ali. Ali. I mean, we just have to call him Ali now. That's fucking stupid. He'd be a great choice. He's going to get a push, but I don't think he's the kind of guy who wins a battle royal because he's so small. It just doesn't make sense. But he's going to get a big push. That guy has a lot of potential. I think Vince actually, even though he's so small, I think they see something in him. I think Ali's going to get a big push coming post-Mania. But to win this match, I don't like smaller guys winning battle royals. I don't think it makes much sense. And plus, it'd look weird because he's such a small guy and him having to carry that trophy everywhere. Shelton Benjamin, no. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, no. And those guys will be gone from the company soon. Matt Hardy, no. Jeff Hardy, no. I don't know why the Hardys are not in the SmackDown tag team titles. They'd be a good match. I wish we could have seen the Usos and the Hardys in the ladder match. Maybe they faced the Usos in the Saudi Arabia show. Maybe I'm afraid they're doing that. They had a huge problem last year's. They have so much investment in Saudi Arabia that hurts WrestleMania. So, but I don't know why the Hardys are in this match. I don't know why they're not competing for the tag titles, but I don't see them winning. Otis, no. Tucker, no. Otis is a possibility. You know what? That could happen. I'll give that. He's one of the favorites, actually. Tucker, no. EC30, I don't see that. So, other guys are predicted here. Are my prediction. As was Lacey Evans, she isn't listed on WWE.com. Who's my prediction? Well, here's who I think. I think this match ends with Colin Joyce and Michael Shea in the ring. And Braun Strowman finally gets his hands on him. He dumps both of them out. And they as he leaves them, they kind of grab his arms, similar to the ending of the 92 Rumble. Sid Vicious grabbing Hogan's arm, or Hogan grabbing Sid's arm. And as they do, Kevin Owens, who is not listed here, eliminates Braun Strowman. Kevin Owens is my pick. I think he gets revenge for all the stuff Braun did to him this past summer. He tormented him. He almost killed him. Kevin Owens wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Next, the Cruiserweight Championship. You have Buddy Murphy defending his title against Tony Nese. New champ. I think Tony Nese wins, but I think it makes sense. It's WrestleMania. Do the title change here. I don't see why not. Buddy Murphy's had a good run, but I think Buddy Murphy's big enough. He's a big enough guy to just put on the main roster. He's proven himself in NXT. I think he's done a lot. I think Triple H is probably high on him. We know he has impressed people backstage. It's been going on since he was in NXT. And I think he probably should go to the main roster. So I think he loses, and I think Tony Nese is your new Cruiserweight champion here. And sadly, I don't think anyone will care about this match, even though it'll be good. All right, next. This match hasn't been announced, but it's been rumored. It's like they've been rumoring it all over social media. The Revival are not listed for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Neither is Curt Hawkins or Zack Ryder. I've seen several wrestling sites reporting this. I know these guys are wrong half the time. It could be fake news sometimes. You all know that we're wrestling sites. But I really think this makes sense, even though they haven't built this. This could be a cool moment if they were to build this right, but they're not. But I still think we're going to see the moment anywhere. We have Revival defending their Raw Tag Team titles against Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins. It has not been announced. This could be not even happen on the main show. They could all just be in a battle, and I could be dead wrong. I'm going to say this does happen. And I'm going to say we have new champs. I think this is going to be the reverse streak. WrestleMania 30 Undertaker streak ends. It says 21-1 on the screen. I don't even know what Hawkins is, like 200 something. Curt Hawkins gets the win over the Revival. Those guys are miserable. It is well known. I've heard the Revival are so unhappy that they're going to host shows, and when they see someone wearing an AEW shirt, they'll go in front of them and they'll say, "We'll see you soon." That's how bad it is with the Revival. Those guys are miserable. They want to leave. They're not going to be in this company for much longer. And I think they're going to get punished here. I think they're losing on the pre-show to Curt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Hawkins probably will score the win, probably on Scott Dawson, because he seems like a bigger star than Wilder, but Revival loses their belts, and I think you have new champs. I think Curt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, they'll be a joke champ. They'll be like the B team as a joke champs, but I think they get the titles here, and I think the streak is over. And now, let's get to the main card. WrestleMania 35. The main matches on the show. Let's run them down. First, now, before we get to the matches, let's talk about our WrestleMania host, the goddess, Alexa Bliss. How Alexa Bliss will be used on this show is, I think, she'll come out after the national anthem and after the WrestleMania video package. That's how they usually use these guest hosts. They've had Rock, they've had Hogan, and I think they had the New Day. That's how they've used them. I think that's how they use Bliss here. I'm sure she'll come out looking stunning as she always does. She's going to wear some amazing outfit. I'm sure of that. She's been looking unbelievably gorgeous in these tight leather outfits on the moment of Bliss. But I think she'll wear a beautiful dress here for this occasion. Bliss, I'm a huge fan of hers. I think she's the best looking woman they've ever hired. I think she is fantastic on the microphone. I was never a big fan of having her as a dominant champ. It's not believable. I really like her in this role, and I'd like to see more of Alexa Bliss. And talking segments, I don't think she needs to wrestle as much because I think she's just so great to look at, and I think she's just really great on the mic. So how they use her on the show, to give her prediction, because she is the host, I think you'll see her to start the show, and I think you'll also see her backstage. I think she'll interact with some legends. They always do a big comedy spot with all the legends backstage. I think she'll probably do something like that, and she'll probably come out later in the show to announce that they broke their fake attendance record or something like that. That's what she'll do. That stupid fake record. They have to do that every year. Now, let's talk about the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. This will be the first time you ever see those titles defended at WrestleMania, and we have a Fatal 4-Way match here. You have the champions, Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Boss and Hug Connection, defending their titles against Nia Jax and Tamina, Beth Phoenix and Natalya, and the IIconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Now, I have to give Sasha some credit. I gave Alexa a lot of credit for the way how good she's been looking, but Sasha, she's been looking smoking hot as well. She's just been looking great. I don't know, her and Alexa got their hair done. I've been noticing it because I follow them on Instagram, and both their hairs look great. Alexa even teased people. She teased that she dyed her hair like pink and black, but it's still blonde, and Sasha got her hair done too, and she looks great. I think she's just been... I forget how attractive she is sometimes because they talk about so much how good of a worker she is, but she is very attractive. She is smoking hot. And her and Bayley, I think they're going to win because I get this feeling they want to give them a long title right now. This is Vince McMahon. He can change his mind the night of the show. He can say, you know what, we're going to have Nia Jax and Tamina win. We have too many faces winning. That could easily happen. And I wouldn't shock me at all to see Nia and Tamina win because every WrestleMania there's some stupid heel surprise that wins. Last year was Jinder Mahal. He won the U.S. title. No one wanted to see that. I could easily see Nia Jax and Tamina winning. I don't see Natalya and Beth Phoenix winning. I think that'd be the least, to me that'd be the biggest upset because I think Beth Phoenix is done. I think she's just here for a one shot. And I don't think they're really going to push Natalya. So I don't see them winning. The IIconics could win. They are a dark horse. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are going to get pushed. I also have to give Peyton Royce credit. Ever since she dyed her hair blonde, she's just been looking stunning as well. They like the IIconics because they're from Australia, and they did a big show in Australia last year. They're going to probably do more shows in stadiums. They're going to push the IIconics. Speaking of Australian women, I wish they'd bring back Emma. I know she's a free agent, but it'd be cool if they brought her back. Now, the IIconics are a dark horse. I'm just going to stick with Sasha and Bayley. I think they're due for a long title reign, especially Sasha, because she's had so many of these joke title reigns the last 2 weeks, and they take the title off her. So I'm going to say they get a good reign here, and I think they keep their belts. So that's my prediction for the women's tag titles. Another Fatal 4-Way tag team title match is the SmackDown tag team titles. This match is a lot harder to predict, because any one of these four teams could realistically win this match. You have the Usos defending their titles against Aleister Black and Ricochet, the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus, and Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I think Rusev and Nakamura are the least likely because of their attitudes. In particular, Rusev, him and Lana have just been acting like spoiled little brats on social media. Lana just has had a shit attitude ever since she's brought up to the main roster. All the stuff she did, that stupid storyline she ruined when she had to reveal that her and Rusev were getting married, even though the storyline sucked. I think just that killed Lana, and I think I still think WWE holds that against Rusev. Last year at this time, Rusev was the most over wrestler. Every WrestleMania, there's someone who's just unbelievably over every year. Last year, it was Rusev. This year, it's Becky. Last year was Rusev. All of New Orleans, they were doing Rusev Day. They were cheering him like crazy. They didn't put the belt on him. I still think they hold that against him. I think they hate Rusev for that. Nakamura is openly phoning it in. Dave Meltzer even said on his podcast this past week, Nakamura is tuned out. He is just someone who collects his paycheck. I kind of laugh at it now. It's almost like a joke to me. He's just a guy who is here to not kill his body. He doesn't have to kill his body in New Japan anymore. He came to the United States to just do his gimmick. He knows it's over. He has a lot of charisma, and that's what he's going to do. He's just going to phone it in. The Bar could win. They love pushing them. They love Sheamus. They like Sheamus a lot. And Cesaro could win too. But I don't see him winning. I think the favorites are either the Usos to retain or Aleister Black and Ricochet. And who I pick is Black and Ricochet. I think they get the belts here. They're going to do a job on NXT for sure. I do not expect any way. I would be stunned if they beat the War Raiders at TakeOver on Friday. So I think they come back here, and I think they get the belts. I think they're going to put them all over here. Triple H is behind them both. I would think Aleister Black would be far better as a single star, as would Ricochet. But then when you think about Ricochet, I don't want to see him get stuck in 205 Live. So I'm going to go with them to win the belts. I think they're the best team here. They're pushing them like crazy. They've been on the main roster for a while. It's been unexpected, but they've been giving them wins every single week. They haven't had them lose. They just had them lose a stupid count-out loss to Revival on Raw. But I'm going to give them the titles here. I think they're the new SmackDown champs, Black and Ricochet. Next, we go to a match that you never want to say anything's a lock, but because this is the Demon, I think Finn Balor's a lock here. Bobby Lashley defends his Intercontinental title against Finn Balor. They flip-flopped the belts, had Balor win the title, then had Lashley win it back. But now, we got the Demon. The Demon comes. It's the first ever time we get to see the Demon at WrestleMania. And his entrance is going to be insane. It'll be cool if they give him the big dark entrance, because every WrestleMania Undertaker gets that entrance. Here, you don't have Undertaker. At least he's not confirmed for the show. He could appear, wouldn't surprise me at all if he appears and has a match. Would not surprise me. It's the Undertaker. However, if he's not going to be on the show, they need that big entrance in the dark. And Finn Balor being outside at WrestleMania is just a perfect opportunity to do the demon entrance. It's going to look crazy. It's going to be awesome. It is... They always have big entrances, but Balor's is just going to be out of this world because it's a stadium and they're going to go all low with all the red smoke and all the pyrotechnics. I don't know what he's going to do, what special thing he's going to do as the paints, but I'm sure it'll be great. And I think the entrance is far more interesting than the match. I think everyone can agree on that. And I think the whole stadium's going to sell because they're going to go crazy for the entrance and they're not going to give a shit about the match. Who wins? I think Balor wins. Demon doesn't lose. I don't think Vince McMahon's going to beat the Demon. I think he's protective of the Demon. He beats Bobby Lashley. I don't think it'll be a squash like some people say. I think it'll be like a 10-minute match. I could be wrong, but I think it'll be a decent match because I don't think they're going to have Lashley get squashed. However, I think Balor gets the belt and he is your new Intercontinental Champion. Now let's talk about some live performance. Elias, who has been all around New York City the last couple of weeks. He's been in Times Square. He's been outside apartments. He's been outside of MetLife Stadium. He's going to do something. I also want to say, I wonder how they're going to do the WrestleMania set this year. I remember at 29, they had the Statue of Liberty, they had the Empire State Building, and they had the Brooklyn Bridge. I wonder how they're going to do it here because the sets have been topped tremendously the last couple of years. It'd be really cool. I think you'll see a New York theme to it, probably a skyline theme, but if there is, I wonder where they're going to have Elias perform. I don't know if they're going to have him just come out of nowhere, or maybe he performs in front of some big New York City monuments. As to what he does here, I think no one cares what he's going to do. It's who's going to interrupt him. Will it be The Rock? It could be, because right when they announced it, I was thinking, all right, Rock's perfect. The Rock's great. We want to see The Rock sing. We've heard nothing about The Rock. I don't think it's going to be The Rock. I could be wrong. I don't think so. Will it be Hulk Hogan? No, I think Hogan's just there to induct Brutus Beefcake into the Hall of Fame, and I think they're going to bring him back in front of the live audience right now. So I'm going to say it's not going to be Hogan. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Stone Cold, Steve Austin, we've heard nothing from him. I don't even know if he's been so weird. It's like we see him only once every 5 or 6 years now. We never see him at WrestleMania. I'm going to say it's not Austin. I don't think he'll be there. I don't think we see him on the show. Undertaker, I think Undertaker's going to appear. I don't think he's going to be with Elias. It'll be interesting. It could be John Cena. I hope not, because I hope Cena's used later in the show, but it could be him. I don't know. I just think someone's going to do it. I hope it's not like Double J or something. My prediction is a bunch of legends come out and it just turns into a giant segment to get all the legends on the show. They do a comedy segment every year. That'll be it. That'll be Elias' role. He'll do it. He'll probably get beat up by some legends. They'll bring back all of them that are still alive, and that's what they'll do. Next, Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin in Kurt Angle's farewell match. So this has been one of the more controversial matches on this show. Everybody despises Baron Corbin. No one wants to see Baron Corbin win. He is hated by the fans. The fans have protested this match. They've done everything in their power on social media to get this match changed. Kurt Angle's wife has spoken out. She's unhappy, as is everyone. I'm sure Kurt Angle's wife is really Kurt Angle. I think Kurt Angle probably told his wife to do that. Kurt Angle will not have his final match against Baron Corbin. It's not going to happen. He's going to do something. Now, one thing that I've heard this conspiracy theory thrown out a bit. It has some validity when I think about it. Kurt Angle was announced for StarCast, and I'm sure Vince McMahon is furious about that. He was announced during WrestleMania week. Is it possible that they're punishing Kurt and giving him a match with Baron Corbin at WrestleMania because he's going to appear on StarCast? And I think he's done with the company after WrestleMania. And The Undertaker's also going to be at StarCast as well in May for Double or Nothing. Are they mad at him? They could be. That could be the issue. But I'm going to say, I'm just going to stick to my gut and what I want to see more than what I think will probably happen. I could easily see Baron Corbin taking Kurt Angle's career. WWE gives Corbin Angle to be, they think of him as a star. Vince McMahon loves Baron Corbin. That is no secret. He thinks he's a star. He sees something in him. They want to push him. They want to push him as a top heel. He gets a huge reaction, as negative as possible. The fans despise him. He set record low ratings last year. The fans genuinely do not like Baron Corbin. I am afraid Vince McMahon sees that, and they could give him Kurt Angle's career. I'm just going to stick with my better judgment. I'm going to say Kurt Angle beats Baron Corbin. He beats him quickly. It'll be under a minute, or maybe like a minute to 2 minutes, something like that. It'll be a quick match. You hit him with a bunch of German suplex, hit the ankle slam, and tap him out with the ankle lock. Kurt Angle retires. The fans are going crazy. He kisses goodbye. He says, thank you. And all of a sudden, you hear John Cena's theme music come out. John Cena comes out to the ring. It's exactly like the SmackDown from 2002 when John Cena debuted his first ever match. Ruthless aggression. He says that to Angle's face, and he slaps him. Angle gets mad. He gives him a last match. John Cena versus Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle's last match. We have a match. I think Kurt will do the best he could. I don't think he has much to offer. He's just really bad in the ring. It's kind of sad to see him work. I'm going to say this happens. I could be wrong, but I'm just going to say it does. They have a match. John Cena pins Kurt Angle. 1, 2, 3. Kurt Angle retires. He has the big send-off. He has the Ric Flair send-off, the Shawn Michaels send-off, where he walks up the ramp. Fans chant, thank you, Kurt, and that's the last we see of Kurt Angle. That's how I think it ends. So I'm going to go with Angle to squash Corbin, and I think John Cena comes out and beats Kurt Angle. Next, the United States Championship, Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. Talk about a match that's under the radar. Joe and Rey, the first time they've ever had, I think, a pay-per-view match as a singles match. These two guys, that'd have a great match. But because there's so much matches, they've had no TV time. They just had, on SmackDown, they've invested so much into Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston that everything else has just been overshadowed. They've had to do about 20 gauntlets, so this has just been overshadowed. Who wins? I'm going to go with Rey. I don't think they view Joe as a star. I don't think Vince McMahon likes Samoa Joe that much. I think he's been injury prone, which he has. And I don't see him winning. I think Rey Mysterio gets the win. The WWE views Rey Mysterio as a bigger star than Samoa Joe, and he is. And to them, and he probably is. He's a bigger star than Joe. I think they bring Mysterio back. They bring some of these legends to give them spots. And some of these legends don't always like to be jobbed every single WrestleMania and every single pay-per-view. They do have egos. And Rey's not a guy who's ever had a huge ego. But I think Rey they're going to give him something. They bring him back. He is a star. The kids love him. I think he beats Samoa Joe cleanly. And I think it might upset some people, but I think they're going to give Rey the title here, and he is the U.S. champ. Not because people don't like Rey, but I don't think they want to see Joe lose. But I'm going to go with Rey Mysterio to beat Samoa Joe here. Next, Randy Orton against AJ Styles in a match that's been also pretty much under the radar. Even though they've built it up on SmackDown, it hasn't been as high profile as you expect for Randy Orton and AJ Styles to have their first ever pay-per-view match. To me, if I'm going to open the show, I open the show with this because they'll have a great match. I have no doubt they're going to have an excellent match. There's no doubt in my mind. I think it could be the match of the night. If they give them time, I'm sure they will. This is the match you start the show with. Let him go all out. AJ is going to work his ass off. Randy Orton, whenever he's facing someone who's a great wrestler, he always works his ass off. He's going to have a great match with AJ. There's no doubt in my mind as to who wins. I'm going to go with Randy Orton. I think he pins AJ Styles. The main reason I'm picking Randy Orton is because I think he's going to be the first opponent for the new WWE champion. Now, who is going to be the WWE champion? We'll get to that later, but I think because of that, Randy Orton is going to pin AJ Styles, and how this match ends is probably going to be really great because you know it's going to end. If Orton wins, it'll be an RKO. Even if Orton doesn't win, it's going to be a crazy RKO spot. I think it'll be more than just AJ jumping off the top or the rope for the phenomenal form. I think AJ might do some flip, and he just gets caught out of nowhere with the RKO, and Orton wins. That's how I think the match ends. And I think Orton then goes on to face the new WWE champion. After the show, and I think he'll be the first opponent. That's why I think Orton's going to win. I think AJ Styles goes to Raw. I don't know if they're going to do a superstar shakeup because it's a bit different this year because Fox, they start in October, so they might delay the shakeup till later in the fall to do the big thing with Fox. But I'm going to say that they move AJ Styles to Raw too, so I don't think it makes sense for him to win. Next, a match that's really fell under the radar. It's just the build-up to this match. This has been not a good build-up WrestleMania. The main match has been built up well. Some of the mid-card matches, they've had so much. They have like 15 matches so far. There could be more. It could get up to 16, 17. That these matches have fell under the radar. And if this was a regular pay-per-view, they'd built this match up more. And that's Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns' first single match. He's back from leukemia. He beat it. He's at WrestleMania. He's having a singles match, and a match that just fell under the radar. Him against Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre is going to get a big push. They are going to push Drew McIntyre heavily. He is going to be a guy who could, if Seth Rollins wins, he could be the first challenger for Seth Rollins. We'll get to that later too. Because I think both Orton and Styles and Reigns and McIntyre play into the two main events for the titles. Could Drew McIntyre win? But yes, McIntyre could win. I think it's going to go to Reigns. I don't think they should beat Reigns at all. I don't think Reigns has any business losing. He beat leukemia. It's WrestleMania. It's going to be the first time he gets cheered at WrestleMania because I don't think he's getting booed. I know his announcement, it feels like it was a long time ago since he announced his cancer was in remission. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think he's going to get booed, and mainly because he's facing McIntyre. The fans don't care about McIntyre at all. It's not like he's facing a big star, so I think he's going to get cheered. I think it'd be stupid to beat him. You can't beat Roman Reigns right now. It'd be dumb to beat him at WrestleMania. I think he's going to pin Drew McIntyre. He lost last year, so I think he gets the win over McIntyre. It's the first time he hasn't been in the main event since WrestleMania 30, 5 years ago. He's been main events in 31 against Brock. The match was great, actually. Surprise people. That was actually a great match. Match with 32 with Triple H, not very good. Slow match. Very forgettable. Match with 33 with Undertaker was horrible, but that was because Undertaker. It wasn't like the match was bad. Just, it was a horrible match to watch because Undertaker looked so bad. And 34 match with Lesnar was a fucking train wreck. That match was fucking horrible. It's like, just embarrassing the way the fans reacted. But here, I think they'll have a decent match. I think Reigns gets the win. Next, Falls Count Anywhere. You have The Miz against Shane McMahon. So I think The Miz is going to win, but no one really cares who wins. What is Shane McMahon going to do in a Falls Count Anywhere match? He's doing the big spot. It's going to happen because it's Falls Count Anywhere. You might see this will be the gimmick match. You could see some weapons here. You could see tables. You could see a ladder, chairs, trash cans, kendo sticks, stuff like that. Steps, they'll use that too, I'm sure. How is Shane McMahon going to kill himself? Will he jump off the Titantron? Well, what's going to be the set? Are they going to do the Statue of Liberty? That'd be a cool thing to jump off of. Are they going to have a New York skyline or a Brooklyn Bridge or an Empire State Building, something like they build their own ones? That's how the match is going to end. It'll probably be a stunt from the set. I don't know what the set's going to be, though. I assume it probably ends with Shane McMahon killing himself and The Miz, even though he's the babyface, getting the win. I think that's how it ends. I think The Miz is going to win for sure because they've been pushing him really hard. They want him to be a top babyface. I don't think Shane needs to win. I don't think Shane, even though I think he's just happy to get his match every year. They always give him a long match. It's going to go 20 minutes. Watch. 20 to 25 minutes. It's a Shane McMahon match every year at WrestleMania. Always gets a lot of time. He gets treated like he's Triple H. Swear to God. This match, he always has long matches. It's going to be a long, drawn-out match. But he's going to lose. I think The Miz wins, and it'll be a big stunt. Shane will mess up, and I think The Miz gets the win. So he'll be pushed as a babyface going after here. I think I'm going to push him pretty hard. Next, no holds barred, and if Triple H loses, his career is over. Now, if Batista loses or he wins, his career is over because this is Batista's last match. It's Triple H and Batista, no disqualification. And to say this has been a disappointing build-up is an understatement because they had a fantastic segment. It was that Raw show in Atlanta when you had Ric Flair, his birthday celebration. He was happy. They cut to the back, and Batista killed Ric Flair. He drags his dead body. He says, "Do I have your attention now, Hunter?" What a great promo. What a great segment. It was a genuine shock. It was crazy. After that, nothing. We barely see Batista on TV. He does that horrible sit-down interview with Michael Cole. That thing was fucking terrible. That was a horrible interview. He came back to Raw in that disastrous segment with Triple H. Give me what I want. Give me what I need. Like the damn Spice Girls song was a damn meme. It's been a disappointing segment. He had a good promo on Raw, but for Batista's return, he's been talking about this for so many years. Ever since he had that disastrous run when he came back in 2014, the fans booed him. It was Boo-Tista and it was Blue-Tista. They despised him. He comes back and he leaves. He has huge success in Hollywood. The Guardians of the Galaxy, big success. He's in Avengers. New Avengers movie comes out in May, so he's going to be gone promoting that. Any chance he's in Saudi Arabia is not zero because he's going to be promoting Avengers. But every interview I've heard of Batista since then to now, he's always talked about at WrestleMania, I want my last match to be against Triple H. I want that to be my final match. I want to go out. I want to have a match with Triple H. that's it. Then I want to retire. That's how I want to go out. He has been talking about that for years. He's finally getting it. This is going to be his last match. I legitimately think Batista's final match is on the show. I think there's a bigger chance this is Batista's last match than it's Kurt Angle's. He's against Triple H. This has been a very disappointing build-up, and it's been boring. They had that good segment, then it's like nothing happens. They had Triple H come out on Raw, they had Batista come out on Raw the next week. It's like they haven't really had that big segment in between each other. They had that horrible one, that give me what I want, give me what I need. That stuff was terrible. But the feud's been disappointing. I think for Batista, he'd expect a bigger match with Triple H and they'd build it up more, but it's been a disappointment. I'm sure Triple H is going to have some major WrestleMania entrance like he has every year. Batista would have a big entrance too. I think Triple H gets the win. I think he pins Batista cleanly in the middle of the ring, and I think this is it. They showed a video package on Raw of Batista killing Triple H. He beat him at WrestleMania 21. In the main event, he beat him 3 straight times on pay-per-view that year. I think Triple H is going to get a big win over Batista. It makes sense. If they're going to build up the storyline to Batista's last match, Triple H is not going anywhere. He's going to be wrestling longer. I don't think it makes any sense for him to retire. He's still in great shape. He can do a match whenever they need him to, and I think he gets the win over Batista, and I think that's it for Big Dave. Triple H gets his revenge, and he avenges Ric Flair, who they've barely mentioned. They don't even mention Ric Flair anymore, but he avenges him, and he beats Batista on the show. Now we get to the 3 matches that are the true main events. They've really been built up very well. At least 2 of them have. First, the WWE Championship. Daniel Bryan defends his title against Kofi Kingston. So I don't think Big E and Xavier are having any other matches. I don't think they'll be in a battle royal or anything. I think they'd rather just see Kofi. They'd rather go out there with Kofi and see him win. I think we see a new WWE champion. Kofi Kingston pins Daniel Bryan cleanly in the middle of the ring. Huge celebration. Now, on SmackDown, Kofi Kingston looked very nervous, and maybe Vince McMahon changes his mind because when he was talking, he was nervous. And Kingston's one of those guys, he's never complained. He doesn't complain. He's never been that kind of guy who's upset with this spot because I genuinely think Kofi Kingston is someone who's just happy to be there. I think he's happy, being with WWE. He's collected a paycheck for like the last 11 years. He's made a lot of money. He's probably made enough that he doesn't ever have to work anymore. I think he's genuinely happy with that company. I don't think he's ever had that major desire to get the belt. I feel like Big E and Xavier have wanted Kofi to get the belt more than Kofi does sometimes. WWE has built this up to a way where there's no turning back because of what they've done with Vince McMahon. They've had Vince McMahon come out and screw Kofi. And to Twitter, people thought, some wrestling fans, WWE is racist. If Daniel Bryan pins Kofi Kingston, which is not out of the possibility, you never know, there's going to be huge trending. It's going to be a big hashtag. It's going to be trending all night. WWE is racist. That is what's going to happen. There is going to be a uproar if Kofi loses. They've built this up. They haven't talked about the race element, but they've hinted at it. They've winked at it. They've done it, and they had Big E post that video on Twitter basically saying guys like us don't get pushed too much. We know what he was referencing. He didn't talk about race, but we know he was basically saying it without saying it. They're going to have a great match here. It's going to be very emotional. There's going to be a lot of false finishes. Daniel Bryan's been a great heel, and I'm sure Daniel Bryan's very happy to give this title to Kofi. I think this match ends with a new champion. Kofi Kingston pins Daniel Bryan. And we have Kofi Kingston. He's the first ever WWE champion who is fully black, because I guess The Rock doesn't count, but there's been champions. Mark Henry and Booker T were world heavyweight champions, but in terms of being WWE champion besides The Rock, there hasn't been one since then. And Kofi gets it. Kofi Kingston wins the title. It'll be a big moment. It'll be a great celebration. New Day will celebrate with him. They'll hold him up. They're all going to be happy. I'm sure there'll be a lot of tears for the New Day. It's a huge moment for Kofi Kingston. He gets his spot. This will be a great WrestleMania moment. It's going to be the highlight of his career. Kofi Kingston pins Daniel Bryan. He is your new WWE champion. Now, the WWE Universal Championship. Now, I'm going to say this. This is the hardest match I've had to predict. I don't know who's going to win. This is 50-50. This could go either way. I am genuinely tossing and turning about this match. It took me so long before I did this video to make my prediction. I don't know who's going to win. Is it going to be Brock Lesnar retaining, or is Seth Rollins going to slay the beast and become the Universal Champion? To go back to Raw, the way the show ended, or the way this segment ended with these two. They had Seth Rollins kill Brock Lesnar, slay the Beast, hit him with a curb stomp, lay him out, just lay him leaving him for dead, holding the title above Brock Lesnar. All right, Seth losing 100%. That's what I thought. I heard through Meltzer's podcast, Seth Rollins was originally going to be designed where Lesnar destroys Rollins. He leaves Rollins laying and he holds up the belt, but they switched at the last second. Okay, if I'm going to believe that, Seth's probably winning, right? But this is Brock Lesnar. It doesn't matter. He was supposed to lose 100 times to Roman Reigns, and he beat him like every time. He was supposed to lose to Reigns 100% last year. He won. Every time you think Lesnar's going to lose, he wins. He was supposed to lose to Strowman, beats him. He always keeps his title. Roman Reigns is back. It's possible. They already had Reigns beat Lesnar, but it's possible they want to do Reigns over Lesnar. Lesnar is staying with the company. He signed an extension. It is so difficult to predict this match. Oh my God. Who am I going to pick? I am going to say that we see a new champion and Seth Rollins pins Brock Lesnar. It's more who I want to win than I think will win. I think Seth's going to win, but this is so close. It's so hard to predict. I'm just going to give Rollins the win. People want to see Rollins win. I think WWE's going to give. I think this is going to be the kind of WrestleMania where we get some happy moments. I don't think they're going to screw the fans over. I could be wrong. They do that almost every year. They give us stupid heel victories, but I think they're going to give the fans a lot of happy moments here. There's going to be a lot of times when the fans are happy on the show. It's going to be more of a positive WrestleMania, not necessarily a heel-heavy WrestleMania. And I think because of that, we see a new champ. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins. Pins Brock. It was supposed to be Brock destroying Seth on Raw, so just in case you think for sure Seth's winning. I could also get to the point where the writers know, the fans know everything on social media, so they might just do something on Raw to make you think this is what we're going to do, but that's not what we're going to do. It could be a double swerve. I'm just going to go with Rollins. I think he gets the belt. They give him the Rumble. They want to push him hard. I think he's going to pin Rollins, and I'm going to go with Seth Rollins as your new Universal Champion. If Brock Lesnar wins, will I be surprised one bit? Absolutely not. And now, the historic main event. For the first time ever, we will have the woman main eventing WrestleMania. You have a triple threat match, a winner-take-all match, and I think a lot of people would rather prefer this just being a singles match. I would have rather just seen Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. However, I'll give them credit for this. I think ever since they put the belt on Charlotte, I felt this match has been bigger. All right, I get it now. At least two titles are involved, and it makes sense to do it. If they're going to do the first ever match, let's go all out. Let's have the Raw Women's Champion, the SmackDown Women's Champion, and the Royal Rumble winner all in the main event. And for that, I'll give WWE credit. I think adding the SmackDown title helps it and makes it even bigger. That's how I feel. Now, who is going to walk out WrestleMania as the double champion? Who will be both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion and potential the unification champion? It's possible to unify the titles after the show. I don't think they are because they haven't announced that, but it's possible whoever wins this, not next on Raw or a week after that, they present them the new WWE Women's title and they just have a champion defend the title on both brands. What I think makes better sense is just to have the two titles. They're the double champion to defend both titles on both brands. That's it. You have one division on Raw and the other division on SmackDown, and you run Raw and SmackDown every week, and you defend their title. That's how I think they should do it. How they will, I'm starting to think they might actually just unify the titles. Now, let's get to who's going to win. We have Ronda Rousey, who is the Raw Women's Champion. She's going to be played out to the ring by Joan Jett. She is leaving the company, not permanently, but she is taking some time off after WrestleMania. There's reports that Ronda Rousey's unhappy with the way she's being booked. I think all the stuff with Ronda starts to go downhill when she had to face Becky Lynch. The fans made their decision with Ronda and Becky, and they chose Becky. Becky was the hottest woman in the company, the hottest wrestler in the company, period, at the time. They were supposed to face at the Survivor Series, but then Nia Jax injures Becky Lynch, and the match gets canceled. The whole thing with the Ronda-Charlotte match they had at Survivor Series with Charlotte killing Ronda with a kendo stick, that was going to be Becky. If that happens, I think this match ends up being Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. I think that's how Vince McMahon wanted it to be Go back to last year's Mania. You can watch my review from last year. I said WrestleMania 35, the main events, Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. The way they built it up, they had Ronda Rousey look great in her match. They had her beat Stephanie McMahon. They did that match well. She gets her in the armbar, breaks her arm. It was a great match. Charlotte beat Asuka. She broke her streak last year. They made her a big star. All right, it's setting up Ronda Charlotte in the main event. Now, enter Becky Lynch. She comes out of nowhere and she becomes the biggest star in the company during the summer. Ever since the SummerSlam when Becky was going to win, everyone had thought she'd win the SmackDown title, but then Charlotte wins and they have Becky turn heel. It became Charlotte as the face, Becky as the heel, but the fans were booing Charlotte out of the building and cheering Becky. She became a superstar. They finally give in. They have the match at Evolution. Becky wins. Becky is now a babyface, and she's the most loved face in the company. Then she gets hurt, and she misses the match at Ronda, and I think that put sympathy on her, and that helped Becky more than anything, her broken nose or broken face. Becky loses her title to Asuka, then she wins the Royal Rumble, and it's set up perfectly. Her and Ronda Rousey, but then they have to add Charlotte. They add Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon has to get involved to add Charlotte in the match. But then they built it up better with Charlotte. I think helping Charlotte was beating Asuka for the title on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. I think that helped her and give her the SmackDown Women's title. So it's winner take all. Who is going to win? Ronda, Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte, SmackDown Women's Champion, or Becky Lynch? I'm going to go with who should win and who I think will win. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. They could just stick the middle finger to us and not give us what we want. I'm going to say they just do it and give the fans what they want to make the fans happy, because I think if any other result than the one I'm going to predict happens, there's going to be such an uproar on social media that I don't think WWE is going to want the first ever women's main event in WrestleMania history to end off with such a negative feedback. And I think you might just think, well, it doesn't matter. They're just going to do their fireworks anyway. They're going to have their champion. Who cares what people on Twitter say? People on Facebook or Instagram getting mad, it doesn't matter. They're just a bunch of marks. I don't think they want that. I think they want something very positive at the end of WrestleMania. I don't think they want any negative backlash. I think they give us what we want. I could be wrong, but it wouldn't shock me at all if I'm wrong. But I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say to give the fans what they want. Becky Lynch is your Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion after WrestleMania ends. The show ends with Becky Lynch reigning supreme. If she beats Ronda Rousey, I'm going to say she does it. Could be wrong. Again, they could have her beat Charlotte to save Becky and Ronda later in the year. I'm going to say Becky taps out Ronda with the disarmer. Becky wins the title. It ends up in that show goes off. Big fireworks, huge celebration. Becky's in the ring. Confetti comes down from the rafters. It's a celebration. The fans get what they want. The man is the champion. Becky Lynch is your new Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. That's how WrestleMania ends. I'm going to go with Becky Lynch to win this title. I could be wrong, but I'm going to say she is the double champion at the end of WrestleMania. And she becomes the top star. They're going to push her heavily. She is going to be someone who is not just pushed as a top female star, but one of the top stars in the company. Maybe the. I think they know what they got in Becky. I could be wrong. Again, I keep going back to where I think I could be wrong, because I just know they've done this with Charlotte so many times. How many times with Charlotte has it been? She's losing for sure. She wins a big match. She always seems to get that big win. And they just do it when there's another person who's more over than her, and they want to crown her anyway. And they love Charlotte. She's Ric Flair's daughter. She's blonde. She's tall. She has all the tools. She's great in the ring. There's no denying that. And they love Charlotte. She's been their top star in a while. She was their chosen one to start. I think Becky's taking that over. I'm going to say she wins. Now, how the show goes off the air. Before it was announced it's going to be winner takes all, there was many, including myself, who speculated this could end with the 4 horsewomen curtain call, kind of similar to how they did at NXT TakeOver when it was in Brooklyn the first time. It'd be perfect. I think that was in the same area. 4 years later, they're all champions. Charlotte's a SmackDown Women's Champion. Becky's Raw Women's Champion. And Sasha Banks and Bayley are tag team champions. They end the show, the 4 horsewomen pose. All of them have their fingers up with the 4. They have the title belts around their shoulders. Perfect ending for WrestleMania to go off the air. 4 women looking strong together. Female empowerment. Girl power, right, Stephanie? That all changed when they announced it's a winner-take-all match. So I don't see that's how it ends. It could be, they could do it anyway. They could have Charlotte lose. They can just have Becky or Bayley and Sasha come out and they do that 4 Horsewoman curtain call anyway. They could do that. I don't see it doing that. I don't think Bayley and Sasha are going to come out later. I don't think Charlotte's going to celebrate with Becky. I think Becky wins. I think it just goes off in a happy ending. She's the double champ. She has both titles over her shoulders. And she is officially the man. She's the top star in the company. We go off the air with Becky Lynch reigning supreme. So that's how I see WrestleMania ending. I think this is going to be a good show. I do. I think we're going to have a lot of matches. Now, the problem is the show's going to be so long, and this isn't a hot weather situation where you have good weather, where the fans can be happy. It's going to be cold, and it's going to be uncomfortable for some fans. There's even some forecast for rain. That'd be a complete disaster. I think if the show goes too long, which it will, it could drain the fans, and there's going to be matches that are going to get hurt. I think they'll get up for the main event no matter what. But other matches that the fans aren't necessarily invested for could get hurt by this show, especially going off later in the show. If I'm not the main event, I want to go early on the show. That's how I'd have the attitude if I was a wrestler, because you'd have the fans when they're really hot. So people have been crapping over this show. There's just been so much. It's been hard to focus on everything. But this is my prediction for how the show is going to go. I really believe WrestleMania 35 is going to be a great show. It's going to be the best WrestleMania we've seen in a while. I really, really believe this is going to be a good show. I could be wrong, but I have this feeling the way that's lined up, I think we're going to get a lot of happy moments, and I think the fans are going to be happy, and I think WWE is going to give the fans what they want. So I'm a little bit more positive going into this WrestleMania than I have been in previous years, but I see this being a good show, and I think this is it's going to be a positive WrestleMania. So I hope everyone enjoys it. Hopefully they give us a great show, and I hope they do, and I think they probably will. So WrestleMania this Sunday. It all goes down. The biggest show of the year, it goes down this Sunday. And I will review it after it ends. And again, hopefully we get a great show. To those of you who are going there, I hope it's great for you. I hope the weather's not too bad. And I hope, it's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania Sunday. We all should enjoy it. It's fun. Whatever you say about it, it's the Super Bowl for wrestling fans. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be entertaining. I am always happy around this time of year. I always look forward to it. I love WrestleMania week. Not just WrestleMania, all the stuff around it, all the other shows, NXT, everything else. WrestleMania week as a whole is great. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully WrestleMania show is a great show too.